Peace. What's good, YouTube? It's Kareem Samdi back again with another video. So today we're going to get into the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is represented by the element of air, and its color is green, and it's the center of our being, the center of the higher chakras and the lower chakras where they intersect. This chakra is the gateway to the higher realms. It's the gateway to the higher self. And as I said before, the lower chakras, those deal mainly with the ego, the lower nature, the lower self, the physical body, the dense body. Now, when we get into the higher chakras, we're going to need to use the energy of the heart to really move forward and ascend and to, make contact with the spiritual energy in the cosmos, but also the spiritual energy and the light within us. And that takes letting go of what's inside of the lower chakras. What's inside of the lower chakras is generally what keeps us down. But what's something that I wanted to say in a different video, balancing the lower chakras is actually the easiest part of the work. And it should be an easy thing for you because it's only as simple as you make it for yourself. When we come and deal with chakras, we have to understand that all the energy that we need to move forward is all within us, and we have to trust ourselves. And the heart chakra deals with that trust. It deals with understanding who and what you are. So we have to really recognize that it's not about really becoming anything. It's just about remembering what we really have within us. We have to recognize that everything that we could ever possibly be, it's all within. And when you see that for yourself, you begin to really realize that you've been there for yourself the entire time. You have to be there for yourself now. So you have to allow things to come. The heart chakra is all about surrender. And oddly enough, when you surrender, everything comes your way. So the heart chakra is obviously located in the heart area, in the upper torso, the middle or the upper back, and in the middle of the chest. That's where the heart chakra mainly is. It's in the shoulders, and it's also in the sternum. So any of those areas, if you feel a tightness in any of those areas, or you feel like an emptiness in any of those areas, that's generally signifying an imbalance in your heart chakra's energy. So the main function of the heart chakra, it deals with intimacy, it deals with connection with self and connection with others. It deals with love, it deals with compassion for yourself, compassion for others. It's the hidden self, the invisible realm that we know is there, but we're not always consciously interacting with. The realm of emotions, the realm of empathy, that's where the heart chakra lies. Anything dealing with emotions is where the heart chakra is. And it's also about feeling, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about others, how you see yourself and how you see others, your opinion of yourself. In the frequency of your consciousness, it's all about trust, it's all about surrender. So you see that I'm talking a lot about, first of all, I'm talking about a lot about how it deals with yourself for a reason. And the reason why I say that is because the heart chakra mainly deals with self. Because oddly enough, when you balance out self, you balance out your interactions with others. You balance out, your interactions with the world, because it all works because of the law of correspondence. The work that you do within, you also do the work outside. And when you begin to see yourself in better ways, you begin to feel about yourself in better ways, trust yourself in better ways, love yourself in different ways, the universe will reciprocate that back to you. And what you do within is what other people see, because that's who you're creating. When you do the inner work, you're creating a different you to present to the world. And that different you is the spiritual energy that you're radiating back to the universe. So when you do the transformation of yourself and you really begin to let go of what's in you that held you back, this leads to a higher and a true transformation from your lower nature into your higher nature. And what ends up stopping this, is the lower chakra's agenda and the ego. The ego doesn't want to let go of everything down here. See, the thing is with the ego is that the ego is very focused on, when I get this, I'll be happy. When this comes into my life, I'll be happy. When I reach a certain goal, I'll be happy. But your spiritual self, your higher self, doesn't care about any of that. It doesn't need any of that. See, the spirit body, the higher self, is mainly concerned with transformation and light. That's all it needs. It actually doesn't even need that because it knows that it already has that. The spirit body knows that it already has that. That's the only thing that the spirit body would ever concern itself with. It's not concerned with any of your earthly agendas. So, but the ego says, when I get rich, I'll be happy. When I get more sex, I'll be happy. When I become successful, I'll be happy. When people recognize me, when I'm famous, I'll be happy. You know, when I get this job, when I get this career, I'll be happy. When I get all these things outside of me, and there's no end to it. There is no end to the ego's wants and desires. And that's why when you get these things, when you're focused on getting these things, and the ego feels like it's appeased, it's only for a short while. And then the ego throws something else in your way. Or it just keeps these things, it keeps you in the cycle of chasing these things over and over again. The lower chakras and the ego, it doesn't care whether you transform or not. It just cares that it survives. So when you begin to let go of these things, because you have to let go of these things, if you don't let go of these things, you'll never move into the higher realms of the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is divided into two subsets, the lower heart chakra and the higher heart chakra. And sometimes you can find yourself in the middle too, depending on where your consciousness is at. But a lot of people, you know, when the heart chakra opens naturally, which is usually around the age of 25, right? A lot of people will get stuck because the thing is, we'll realize our place in this world. Everybody self-actualizes. Everybody evolves throughout the course of their life. But we'll get stuck. A lot of people get stuck in their consciousness because, especially now, because naturally there's a lot of agendas that's going to keep you focused on the world. You know, sometimes even the ego's agendas can still be positive too, positive towards humanity. But like I said in another video, humanity, you know, you being concerned about humanity will still limit your ascension. It will still limit your spiritual transformation, because humanity is what keeps you from your higher self. You have to let go of humanity, because humanity is nothing more than a construct used for your consciousness in the school of earth. But humanity has nothing to do with your higher self. Humanity doesn't necessarily exist on a higher level. It's just a label that you have here. It's just a physical form that you have here. And it was made so that you would actually be concerned, you would actually care about experiencing what Earth is meant to give you, which is understanding and knowledge of self, but from a point of separation. That's what humanity was for. You had to learn humanity while detaching from your higher self, because like I said, your higher self doesn't need anything. So we had to create a different construct in order to care about relearning every part of the Godhead. And that construct was humanity. And we put that on earth. So when your ego gets in the way, the ego's agendas can be positive and can still get in the way. So it can be concerned about saving the world. It can be concerned about changing the world. It can be concerned about doing all these things. And when it does all these things, it will be happy. When it changes the world, when the ego gets on top and has a lot of people agreeing with it, when the ego debates as many people as it possibly can and hopefully changes in as many minds as it possibly can, then it'll be happy. But it won't be happy. And it may very well be your mission to do some of these things, because a lot of us, we come to Earth to experience different things. So it may very well be your mission to be concerned with humanity. And that's perfectly fine. But when we're talking about transforming on a higher level and letting go and moving on from Earth, moving on from humanity, these are things you have to let go over time. And that's just how it is. And it doesn't matter what agenda it is, you know, as long as it has to do with humanity, as long as it has to do, you know, with Earth and, you know, continuing the matrix really, or changing the matrix, trying to perfect the matrix, trying to perfect humanity in whatever way possible. It doesn't matter what your intentions are, you know. But if your focus isn't on something new, beyond humanity, beyond Earth, then essentially you'll remain in the lower heart chakra, and that's there's nothing wrong with that, you know, especially if that's what you're supposed to do. But I'm talking to people who are ready to move forward, you know what I mean? Because I was ready to move forward. And This is why I'm making the video in the first place, for an understanding of where you might lie in the heart chakra. You can still use the energy of the heart chakra and the other higher chakras, even if your mission is different. Everybody's here experiencing and doing different things. So now there's ways to harmonize this, there's ways to balance this. And if you bring the ego's agenda into the heart chakra, your higher chakras, they won't function as optimally. And when the heart chakra is balanced, you're going to feel acceptance. You're going to feel empathy for yourself, and love for others. You're going to feel compassionate for yourself and compassionate for others as well. Gratitude, you're going to feel patience, and you're going to let things come. You're going to feel surrendered. Surrender is the key to any kind of transformation, because it involves truly just letting things happen the spiritual way. See, ego is focused on trying to control everything, trying to make sure that everything happens in a sequence that it can understand, that it can keep up with. But the heart doesn't need to do that, because the way that the heart operates is in simplicity. It operates intuitively. This is your intuitive center. So if your intuition isn't on point, then you have a heart chakra issue too. You know, you're gonna feel pure. The heart chakra is all about purity, feeling light, and you're gonna feel pure of heart again, just like you did when you were a kid. Nurturing and the sexual energy. Your sexual energy will be more intimate, and you'll be able to feel patient for having the right people in your life, having the right friends, the right family, and the right lover as well. You know, you're not really, if say you're like a serial dater, a serial monogamous or whatever it's called, right? Meaning you get married over and over again. You know, instead of always constantly seeking to have someone, you'll be content with yourself, because if you love yourself and you accept yourself in a balanced fashion, you're not going to be rushing to fill the void with somebody. See, a big problem as to why people's heart chakras are imbalanced in this matrix right now, especially at this really volatile time of transformation, is because there's a lack of love of self. There's a lack of acceptance of self, being comfortable with being on your own, or even just being within yourself, right? We've externalized love, and we've also made it conditional. So we've made love into something that is very ego-based, egocentric. And this creates an imbalance in the heart chakra, because all of our love is centered around not getting hurt, or it's centered around being controlled in a fashion where it best suits us, right? We've boxed it into a bunch of rules. We boxed it into a bunch of into a lot of different things that just keeps love from expressing itself properly, because love isn't something that's necessarily measured. That's not necessarily something that can be scientifically defined either. Love in essence is chaos, and it expresses itself in infinite ways. So to box that in, right, it actually destroys you from within. And that's what we've done on a mass level, because we've lost our understanding of love, and now after we've hit rock bottom, we're trying to re-understand it again. But in the process of understanding it again, we actually have to all let go of our ego's agenda when it comes to love. See, this is why I said loving yourself comes first, because not only do you bring your ego's agenda into the heart chakra when dealing with your spiritual transformation, but it also happens when you deal with others. So your ego's agenda will get in the way of your connection with others if your heart chakra is imbalanced. And this is exactly why an imbalanced heart chakra leads to what we can observe to be, high divorce rates, and just in general, what seems like a lot of relationships just not working out, because there's a lack of love of self, and we seem to think that the love that we're going to get is going to come from somebody else. And like I said before, that's the ego. When I meet the right person, then I'll feel happy, then I'll feel loved. It's not about meeting the right person. The right person, there is no right person that's going to give love to you the way that your higher self gives love to you. And yeah, we do all have soulmates. I'm not going to say that we don't. But what I am going to say is that because you two are one part of the same soul, unless you learn to love yourself, how are you going to be able to love that person too? And how are you going to be able to get it back from that person as well? See, this is why there's a paradox in saying that your love is going to come from someone else. The unconditional love is going to come from someone else, and that's going to make you happy, because how can it make you happy if you're not already happy before you get it? And that's another thing, because when you forget that you can actually generate love, generate happiness, generate joy, generate peace all from within, when you forget that, that's when you lose sight of what enlightenment really is. See, it took me a while to really figure this out, actually, because for a while, I personally thought that I would personally think that, not only did I think that when I met the right person, but I also associated, just being complete with having everything that I want. The money, the women, all different types of things, right? And it took me a while to really figure this out. And I would say so because coming up, from a young age, there was a lot of inexperience that I had, but also as I became more experienced, I began to realize that, nothing outside of me is really going to give it to me. Nothing outside of me can really give me happiness. Doesn't matter whether I have $1 million or not. Doesn't matter whether I have everything I desire or not. It's all a farce at the end of the day. And it's shocking when you realize it, because it's all a deception. It's a deception and a lie that's been sold to you. Just like the American dream, just like in general, all these things that we attribute to being successful, we attribute to being at peace with ourselves, to being happy. But if you look at a lot of people who have these things that you want, what they're lacking is that spirituality. Some of these billionaires still kill themselves. Some of these celebrities still kill themselves, still hate their lives, because there's a lack of heart chakra energy. There's a lack of acceptance of within, a knowing that they have it all within, that they don't even have to do anything. See, you should already be about your spiritual purpose anyway. You should already be on your purpose anyway. Just because you're on your purpose doesn't mean you should associate an agenda with your purpose as well. That's just going to get in the way. You have to already be on that mission, and whatever comes as a result of that mission, whether it brings you prosperity or whether it doesn't, that mission should already be a part of you, because you came here for that. But you don't need to chase anything. You don't need to look for anything outside of you. It doesn't matter whether you get the money or not. It doesn't matter whether you get the fame or not. The currency that you should be looking for is the love that you get from doing what you love, the love that you get from executing the mission that you came here for. Everything is already taken care of. You just have to trust in yourself. You trust in yourself by balancing your heart chakra. You trust in yourself by trusting in your mission, trusting that as long as you do what you do, and you know that happiness, peace, and enlightenment is where you stand and not outside of you. It's all where you stand. It's all within. It's all within your center. As long as you know those things, you'll be set no matter what you do. I promise you that. And it took me a while to realize that, but when I did realize that, everything lined up for me. And a balanced heart chakra is about innocence and forgiveness, letting go, surrender. You'll feel emotionally empowered. You'll feel hopeful. You'll feel inspired, confident, and friendly. And I want to get into the overactive heart chakra as well. See, an overactive heart chakra, it deals with codependency. And just like how I described before, codependency, when you're dependent on things outside of you to give you what you need, that's a recipe for disaster, because it will disconnect you from your spiritual self. It will disconnect you from your higher nature, because that vibration that you've given off, it tells your higher self and it tells the universe that you don't trust in yourself to provide spiritually for yourself, to provide everything that you need. You don't trust in that part of yourself. You're looking for it inside of somebody else, and that's what the universe gives back to you. And that's why that That's why your love experiences will be superficial, or there's always gonna feel like there's something wrong. There's always gonna feel like there's something missing because you're dependent on something outside of you to fulfill those things. That's the issue here. You're gonna feel narcissistic, stubborn, people pleasing a lot, saying yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, doing things that you don't want to do, living a life that you don't want to live. That's a big thing. And when I was looking into how a lot of the red pill men talked, right? A lot of these people were coming out of marriages where they got taken advantage of, and a lot of that had to do with people pleasing. Because when you people please, you compromise your values, you compromise who you are for other people or for other things that don't serve you. There is never a reason to do that. That's how you destroy yourself. I will never compromise who I am for somebody else. I did that at one point when I was younger, but I learned quickly. It only took one relationship to learn that lesson for me. But some people, they feel like if they continue to do those things, that it will bring them joy. It'll bring them happiness. It's the ego still. It's all the ego. The ego is what imbalances the heart. If I please this person, if I give this person, if I compromise for this person, I'll be happy. Everything will be okay. It won't be okay. That's all ego getting in the way of your heart. But if you actually trusted in yourself and just accepted and loved yourself enough to be there for yourself, everything would have worked out, even if it hurt for a little bit. An overactive heart chakra is demanding, overly critical, controlling, moody, possessive, depressive, uses money or sex to control people. It's unconditional, or it's conditional actually. Conditional love. I only love you, or I love you if you do this. I love you when you do this. It withholds love to gain a desired behavior from somebody. You'll hear a lot of, if you really love me, you wouldn't be doing this stuff. If you really love me, you would do this for me. That's an overactive heart chakra. It's manipulative. It's jealous, controlling, and it's also overconfident, and it's angry, stingy, and it has there's a doubt within there. And like I said, that doubt encompasses all of those things, because when you rely on other people to give you what you can give yourself, it's because you doubt yourself. You doubt whether or not you can actually generate those things for yourself, create for yourself. An imbalanced heart chakra, honestly, if your heart chakra is imbalanced in this fashion too, like, you can't do anything spiritual, because blocking your heart chakra blocks you off from every part of your power. Every intuitive aspect of your power, which is pretty much 99% of it, an imbalanced heart chakra will block you from it, and you will feel 100% human. I guaranteed. When my heart chakra oscillated between overactive and underactive a lot. It was, for me, my biggest problem. I would feel love for people, right? And at times I would compromise a lot for people, but the reason why I would compromise a lot is because it was hard for me to really express who I really was. And I would hide that a lot. I would love people deeply. I would never hide how much I love people, but I would always hide parts of myself. And you know what they say, like, a relationship built off of withholding information, built off of lies, or anything like that, anything built off of lies doesn't last. Eventually the tower will come crumbling down. And so it was hard for me to really recognize those things at one point. And when I did really begin, first I had to begin to accept myself. Firstly, because there's a lot of shame involved with me being who I really was, being open-minded, and it just took a lot for me to express that to my partners. And because I thought, first of all, I thought I would lose the partners that I had. And some partners I did. just for being myself, right? But that's essentially the universe doing you a favor when you lose people who discover the real you. Because when you realize that they were only there for the person that you were acting as, but not the person that you really were, then they were never really there for the real you. So if people leave when you actually begin to come in harmony with being your real self, trusting your real self, doing these things for the real you, if people leave, then so what? Fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, and when the more I got in tune with myself, and the more that I expressed this with myself and with others, oddly enough, it actually made everything better with my relationships, with everyone, my family, my friends, my romantic relationships, everything. It made it way better, because it's better to live a life where you're closing the gap between who you present yourself as and who you really are. You want to always close that gap. Make sure that you're still being 100% authentic. I walk around being 100% authentic no matter where I am. I don't care if people find out whether I'm into the occult or into spirituality or not. I'm perfectly fine with sharing those things. You know, if you hide those things, if you hide who you are, you actually imbalance not the root chakra. You imbalance the heart chakra. The heart chakra is all about acceptance, and it first starts with accepting who you are. Accept who you are, and other people will accept you as well. The right people will accept you as well, because you don't want to live your life acting. Live your life being. Be who you are, because who you are is worthy. It is worthy of love. It is worthy of respect. Unconditional love. How to balance an overactive heart chakra? You want to use the color green, followed by red or pink when you meditate, when you visualize. Green and red and pink, right? Pink is the color of the higher heart chakra. The higher heart chakra simply deals with your mission, but on a higher level, because we can have a mission, but it could be on a lower level. It could be to change or serve humanity. It could be to change or serve this matrix and change it in a way to try to perfect this matrix, you know, change it in different ways, right? Experience different things in this matrix. That could be our mission, right? But our mission on a higher level, in the higher heart chakra, it deals with transformation of self and evolution, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to use the color green followed by red and pink. Then, you know, I like to watch a lot of love stories, and if I found my heart chakra is overactive, but it hasn't really been like that. But when it was overactive, you know, if synchronicity didn't catch me, you know, because a lot of times I would walk in and I would see, you know, or I would walk around and I would see a lot of love stories playing. I would hear a lot of love songs playing, and they would describe exactly how I felt. They would show scenes about how I felt. So you want to recognize behaviors that you do when you watch these love stories, you read about these love stories. Recognize the behaviors that these characters do that is similar to what you do. And notice the effects that they have in case they aren't optimal and you want to change. Notice those effects. Journal a lot. Journal your emotions. Journal your thoughts a lot. Balance things out and give more instead of receiving so much. And really let go of your expectations when you deal with people. Let go of your expectations of yourself and really just be like, okay, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with who's right here. You want to be happy with who is right here, right now, because you're always going to have yourself. But if you can't accept yourself right now, how are you going to accept yourself in the future? You know, accept yourself where you stand, because that's still the best you. You just haven't seen it yet. But when you begin to look at things with a higher spiritual level, you'll realize that no, you're already where you need to be. It's just a matter of focus. It's just a matter of thought. And so balance things out, really. Learn to let go and surrender. That book, Letting Go, David R. Hawkins, if you don't have it, buy it. Because all it does is teach you about surrender, which is key to moving through the chakras. It's all about surrender and self-reflection. Like I said, journaling, but also self-reflect every moment of the day. That's called being mindful. Self-reflecting with every situation that you go on, everything that you see, and everything that you feel. Anything that you're doing, right, that is an escape for you, stop doing it. So if you wake and bake, stop doing that shit. If you day drink to escape your problems, stop doing that shit. No more drugs, no more alcohol, nothing. Face your reality the way that it actually is. Be sober and feel your emotions and reflect on them. Then surrender. And you want to do a lot of pranayama, belly breathing, diaphragm breathing, because the element is air for the heart chakra. So anything involving breath work you want to do, learn to love yourself first. And also forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for everything that you've gone through. Forgive yourself for not being, everything that your parents hoped that you would be, everything that you hoped you would be. Forgive yourself for not being all these things that your ego wanted you to be, for not being successful. Forgive yourself for not being rich if you're poor. Forgive yourself for not being, the most confident person if you're not that confident. Forgive yourself for everything. If you forgive yourself, you open yourself up for transformation, because that's when you begin to surrender. Forgive yourself for not having everything that you want, for not being where you want to be. Just forgive yourself and accept yourself where you stand. Nurture yourself, because when you forgive yourself for everything, that's when the real transformation happens. So you have to be able to do that for yourself before you do it for others. Doing it for others comes as a result of doing it for yourself. An underactive heart chakra, you're going to feel unworthy of love. You're going to feel like you can never find the right person. You're going to feel void of morality and compassion for others. Apathetic. You're going to feel paranoid. You're going to feel afraid of rejection. You're going to feel a lot of self-pity. You're going to beat yourself up a lot. And you're going to need a lot of reassurance. Everywhere, every corner that you turn, you need a lot of reassurance. You're going to feel needy, and you're going to feel insecure. This is going to translate in your relationships. It's going to translate in how you handle things with people. And an underactive heart chakra always needs reassurance. It always needs something to tell it that it's going to be okay. Something to tell it, to really help it energize itself, because it needs that energy, but it hasn't given it to itself. An underactive heart chakra generally stands from someone not loving themselves enough. And there's going to be a lot of financial and emotional insecurity here. Underactive heart chakra is afraid to let go, afraid to surrender. It's afraid of getting hurt, and it'll lash out in different ways to not get hurt. A lot of people we'll set ourselves up. We'll be like, okay, well, notice one bad thing about a person when we're getting to know a person, automatically just jump ship right there. Don't even know the person. But because it's easier to not or to ditch someone instead of actually communicating, getting to know someone in the beginning, right? It's easier to give up than to understand and learn the lesson and move forward. An underactive heart chakra, it won't do these things. It's afraid to do these things because it doesn't want to experience pain. An underactive heart chakra will stay in codependent relationships because it doesn't want to experience the pain of leaving, the pain of being alone. An underactive heart chakra is always going to need someone to tell them that, or express in different ways how much they love them, because the underactive heart chakra hasn't had it. It was deprived of love. The inner child was deprived of love, or they're just learning how to love, and there's a lot of insecurities here, and it'll be hard for someone to really have enough self-worth to treat themselves properly in a relationship. So anything lacking self-worth, an underactive heart chakra will find themselves in a really abusive relationship, mentally or physically, a lot of times. And so it'll need to constantly confirm its self-worth outside of themselves. And there's going to be a lot of doubt a lot of coldness and indecisiveness and feeling unloved, like no one understands them. There's going to be a lot of times they'll feel like they're always doing something wrong, and there's still going to be an element of people pleasing, because there's going to be an underactive heart chakra generally sometimes oscillates between overactive as well. It's all about imbalance when it comes to the heart chakra not being in alignment, right? So how to balance an underactive heart chakra? You want to use the color green and allow love into your life. Surrender, read and watch and immerse yourself in love stories. Put yourself there. Be the characters. Just feel it. You ever watch something and you can really feel what's going on as if you're there, as if you're those people? You want to do that. And create love stories if you're a writer, if you're an artist. Create something that really makes you see love on paper. And that'll really help, create the heart and the sacral connection. When you create the heart and the sacral connection, it makes it easier for you to connect to that part of yourself that feels, that emotion, the clairsentience, the connection with others and with self, with the emotional self. Insert yourself into every love story that you come across, in physical life too. Hearing about other people's love stories, put yourself there emotionally and inspire yourself instead of feeling resentment or jealousy, right? Inspire yourself when you hear other people's love stories, and just know that you are worthy of it. Tell yourself that you're worthy of it, because we're all worthy of love. We all feel love naturally, right? We all feel acceptance of ourselves and of others naturally. It's just this matrix that's programmed you to feel unworthy. This matrix has programmed you to feel like it's something outside of yourself that you have to obtain. But it's in our nature to love and accept others. It's in our nature to love and to communicate. It's in our nature to really. It's in our nature to be who we are, to trust in ourselves, to create from a place of the heart. It's in our nature to do those things. The matrix has just programmed it out of you through mind control. And it's programmed it out of your parents through mind control. So they didn't even know when they were teaching you how to move through this matrix, how to navigate through this matrix. But you can teach yourself. And it's always in our nature to really want the best for ourselves, and to see ourselves as the best, to accept ourselves as we are, to accept others as they are, and to not want to change and manipulate things into fitting our mold, right? Heart chakra sees things as they are. It doesn't seek to manipulate and change anything else. It's all about the spiritual sight, truth. That's what the heart deals with. Gateway into the truth, gateway into the higher realms. And you wanna keep green crystals close to you for long periods of time, like jade, emerald, anything green. Keep that on you for a long period of time. Wear it. If you like onyx, you can wear the onyx, because the onyx symbolizes the heart chakra. If you have rosaries symbolize the heart chakra because Christ symbolizes the heart chakra. When you move into the higher heart chakra and you really begin to understand your mission from a level of higher consciousness, that's when you begin to gain that Christ consciousness that you might have heard of before. So deities that you want to work with would be Krishna, Jesus Christ, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Lady Guadalupe, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Mayat, Isis, Shu, Pan, Het Heru, Horus. These are all deities that deal with the heart chakra. Anything that any god or goddess dealing with love is usually the heart chakra. Oshun is also another one that deals with the heart chakra as well. Activities that you want to do, like I said before, just read love stories. Get into love. Connect with nature as well, because nature is green. Anything green in nature, to connect with that. Eat a lot of green foods. Light a lot of green candles. Light candles for these deities that are green, that are pink. Do a lot of guided meditation centering around the heart chakra. And that's pretty much the video. So I really hope it inspired you guys to look into the heart chakra and motivated you guys to work on it as well. I wish you all luck in your journey. Peace.